we've finally finished our character development. We've put as much information as we could possibly cram into Roll20, ranging from a character sheet that is oddly simplified from the old 3.5 and Pathfinder days, but is oddly complicated because Roll20 has a wonderful thing called macros. And macros will help us save the day by giving us the ability to roll dice based on these little doodads here. The ones that we're looking at here are for saves. But enough of that. We're down to adventure time, and let's meet with our characters. First off, Mr. Mike Perna, who's going to be playing
Baird Ironborn. I'm a Cleric of Moradin.
Cleric of Moradin. Welcome aboard. And next off, we have Luke Navarro.
I'm playing Silas Sylvansmith. He's a halfling wizard.
Right. And then we have Mike Basha.
I'm playing Kendrick Hillenspanner, and he's a dwarf rogue.
Awesome. And my name is Jeff Romo. I'll be running the dungeons for the next few hours as we work through the beginnings of the Broken Road.
And I'm just going to tell everyone right now that they should be thanking Mr. Basha for the fact that I'm probably not going to do my accent due to the fact that it would be weird being the only guy doing an accent. So,
unless we can convince Mr. Basha to do an accent,
I wouldn't. Don't make the newbie do a dwarven accent.
I've got an accent. I could do an accent. I worked for a Scottish man. We had to make fun of him somehow.
There you go.
He always said, there's no such thing as Scotch in Scotland. We just called it whiskey. Which,
Nice.
bagged the next joke, which was, there's no such thing as Scotch tape in Scotland. We just call it tape.
Wow.
Womp, 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 womp.
All right, let's get into Faerun.
All right, as Mr. Perna has indicated, our adventure takes place in the world of Faerun, something that's been around for quite a long time with Dungeons and Dragons fans, but is a little bit new to some of the folks around the table here. We'll begin our journey in the city of Melvaunt. Melvaunt is located on the coast of the Moon Sea, and it is not in one of the more hospitable locations of Faerun. It squats low on the northern coast of the Moon Sea, and it's lit by 1,000 forges. It's a city of metalsmiths and merchants where slaves are traded on the open market, but laws are made behind closed doors. Smoke from the workshops hangs like a black curtain over the city, warning away would-be conquerors from Zintil Keep, as well as the savage inhabitants of the Thar to the north. Those who live in Melvaunt either ally themselves with one of the three ruling families or keep their heads down low as they go about their daily business. Much of that business revolves around industries that service the craftsmen and sailors that make Melvaunt their home, and the city does a bustling trade in a wide variety of goods, most coming in by ship from Mulmaster or other towns across the Moon Sea. Melvaunt is cold and clammy, with a persistent mist that defines the city in the eyes of many foreigners. The moisture mixes with the smoke and ash to kill most traces of vegetation, and it leaves only oily residue on buildings, ships, and unfortunately people. It's pretty well populated. The town is roughly has 34,000 souls within its walls. And being on the coast, being in a land like the Moon Sea, it does have that kind of perpetual grayness that a lot of people have just kind of considered this the way of life. And on those few and far-flung days where there's actually sunshine, you might see the odd smile on somebody's face. So you may be asking what's going to bring these three adventurers into a city like this. We have a halfling who has a heritage deeply rooted in the Feywild. We have a cleric of Moradin seeking knowledge and information. And then we have...
And who's very upset with the fact that there is not a Temple of Moradin in this city.
Yet.
New things, that's correct. New things can start at any time. But there's one fellow in this trio that actually feels somewhat at home in this place, and that would be our friend Kendrick Spanner. Mr. Kendrick has fallen into the employ.
Again?
No, the employ of an individual who has been given some information from time to time on different jobs that Kendrick would be most exceptionally qualified for. Being a roguish sort, he does have that ability to serve some of the needs that are at this person's fingertips. So in your grab bag, in your journals for each of your characters, you should have the Melvaunt City map.
Yep.
And so what we'll be doing is we'll use that as some background information on the city. And the stuff that you guys have in there right now is actually going to give you a little bit of background and some of the general information you've been able to pick up in your time in the city. And I'd say you've probably been here for almost a month, not quite that long. Now, as you go through this list of information, bearing into the different locations, each one is numbered and it matches what's here on the map, you'll notice there's some information in italics, which pertains directly to your characters. So, for instance, some of the information that you've attained is that there are 3 main families that run Melvaunt. It is the Lyrahan, and I'm not going to pronounce that again the same way, the Nanthers, and the Rules. And of those 3 families, the Rules seem to be the strongest at this time. And the Nanthers have actually gone through a recent loss in the family. Now, one thing, though, that has drawn the attention of Silas is their dedication to all sorts of gardening, all sorts of actual plant life and growth that's pretty rare in this town. And they're actually known for using magics to help bring about some of that wonderful growth. In the midst of having their own political infighting between the different noble houses, they have been actually seeking strangers outside of Melvaunt to assist with some of the gardening needs. But in addition, they're also looking for armsmen. And that looks to be to your guys' benefit. So one of the rumors that you've heard around town is that the Nanthers are looking on occasion for the employment of out-of-towners. You guys have been here about a month. And that still kind of gives you that newly arrived feeling.
That new adventurer smell.
You got it. So other bits of information, and you guys can read this info as you see fit. But one other part that is of note, and I think this will actually influence some of Kendrick's original intent to come to town, is the Temple of Gond. And basically this is the Wonderbringer's temple in Melvaunt, and it's a hub of many wonderful things, especially things that have to deal with gadgets and gnomish machinery. So Kendrick, being having his heritage dealing with fabrications and gadgets and things that help his fingers work a little bit better when it comes to alleviating people of some burdens, that sort of thing, like gold or whatever, has drawn his attention because, again, he still has that heritage, that knack towards wanting to deal with things like this. So Temple of Gond is one area that maybe Kendrick might be interested in taking a look at, and maybe one of the reasons why he originally came to Melvaunt. Now, there is another area that will actually pertain a little bit towards both Beard and for Silas, is the Temple of Lyra, which is run by Lady Joywork Shandar Linter, a halfling cleric who established the temple in the first place and nicknamed it Laughing Halls. This is after she moved to Melvaunt from Hillsfarm. She now oversees 7 priests and spreading joy throughout what is known widely as a humorless town of smiths and politicians. But Shandara is a comely woman with a pitch-perfect voice, which she shares during legendary parties thrown by the temple every fortnight or so. The clerics serving the Lady Joywork, and this is something that you've heard through the grapevine, have been seen working closely with the halfling population in town, but their conversations have been closely guarded. So something of note for you guys. The one of the darker aspects of the town is the Temple of Loviatar, which is the Maiden of Pain, and the joys that can come out of that sort of behavior. It's one of the darker temples in town, but it does have a following.
Yes, who leads the High Whip Mistress?
That's correct. The resting place, which is it's known colloquially as, is it's not a particularly popular temple in general, nor has worship of Loviatar spread much in that city. I mean, they value hard work and success. I mean, when you look around in the town that is perpetually in gray, the one thing you do see is people kind of leaning their bodies into the wind and just, I've got to work another day and then possibly get some rest tonight. I mean, it's just a town of hard workers, despite the ever-present nobility that seems to be running things. But like it says there, somehow it still survives. The one thing that is gnawing at the three of you, probably Barrett and Silas a little bit more so than Kendrick, but Kendrick, with your heart of gold, being of good nature, although of sticky finger, he does. You all have a bit of a problem with this part here, which is the livestock pen. Despite its name, this area is not for animals at all. It's actually where slaves are brought and they are groomed for the trading block. This is something that happens lawfully in Melvaunt, just as much as bringing in dry goods. There is a trade in slaves. The good portion of them, the vast percentage, end up in service to the noble houses or in service to some of the larger merchant guilds in the town. So at this stage, because of that, because it's such a lucrative business, they have a whole separate force of 12 city guards that protects that property at all times. It's hidden behind wooden walls and well-placed buildings, kind of strategic locations to help those who are coming off the boats arriving in Melvaunt, and the general populace don't always have to, quote-unquote, see it. But the locals know the business that transpires behind them. Now we come to Hermix All Goods, known throughout Melvaunt as an excellent merchant shop. Hermix is better known to adventurers and rogues as a good place to fence acquired property. And Kendrick, this is one of the connections that you are going to have in your line of work. One of Hermix's men is a short and round human named Samuel, and he manages the smaller areas of Hermix's business. It's him that originally hired you, Kendrick, when you came into town to handle some light finger work in the local taverns. Basically what you'd be doing is working on some of the really newly arrived people and convincing them, hey, you should come over and see this particular show, or you should stay at this particular tavern, that sort of thing. And either you and or other people that would be involved with Samuel would actually go in and alleviate them of some goods. So in general, the targets are normally of the kind of aristocratic, stuck up, nose in the air type people that you don't feel too guilty about ripping off, but a job is a job. So that's one of the basics there. It's probably also one of the reasons why, Björn, you've actually arrived in town. And then over the course of your guys' collaboration with each other, different adventures, that sort of thing, you've started to forge a friendship. So what'll end up happening is over the course of the adventure, you guys can develop that history, and we can start making that grow and making it feel a lot more real to all three of you. So the last item that I'll have listed here that we can move forward is the Blackalux swap shop. This person is a halfling named Ublin Blackaluk, who is he runs this place. It's basically an outdoor large area where people can lay out their goods for trade. On occasion, the halfling will lead forays into the wilds outside of the city, and this is actually where he ended up meeting you guys. In order to either gather supplies, work with caravans that are bringing supplies in, who have elected not to go over the in through the ports. And at this stage, it's between him and a man named Eldred Pentworth that have provided you with some odd jobs, again involving with deliveries and caravan protection outside the walls. So eventually the three of you are called on to meet Ublin directly. Most of your business has been kind of through Eldred, but on occasion Ublin will actually take personal interest in you guys, especially after one or two very successful missions outside of the walls, where you were able to protect an incoming caravan, and more importantly, within that caravan was a trio of singers that were destined to perform at the Devil's Fire Tavern. And it was that particular protection that you guys provided, and whatever the conversations that occurred at that time, we can develop as we go. But has left a good taste on Ublin's tongue as far as being able to hire you guys out for more important jobs. So there's the background at that point, or at this point. Any questions, or how would you guys like to add some flourish to this, based on what you've heard?
Well, I know for me, one of the things that I'd like to be doing, especially if we've been in town for a while, is pretty much the way Baird made his way in the temple, because, like all good children of Moradin, you need to learn a trade. Baird has been super good at smith's tools. He basically he started off doing little things like shoes for ponies and stuff like that, but has since kind of moved up. He is now proficient in his skill. He can do things like forge basic weapons and armor, like nothing fancy, but enough to get by, solid stuff. So he would want to spend some time in the market to make sure that he could still be in his craft while he's in town, because he doesn't have smith tools of his own. And while he's traveling, he's still looking for something of the familiar, because something that reminds him of home. And so he would definitely want to make some connections with any smiths in the marketplace at all, especially if there are dwarven ones.
Okay. All right. Good. And on occasion, you will run across some dwarves that would be passing through town or providing information to some of the metalworks that are in town. Actually, I mean, this is a big industrial city, so or large town. So yeah, that shouldn't be a problem at all. So Silas,
he's not so recently come out of the forest that he doesn't understand the ways of the world, but a tale like this really sort of makes his skin crawl a little bit. The feeling of oil and even metal in the air. It
does a body good.
The crazy dwarves who always seem to want to be making fire and smashing things. So we're almost wherever he goes, he's got in his robes at least a little piece of wood that he is constantly carving on, just quietly in the background. As a boom against the filth that is all of the machinations of modern society.
The second you said he's got a little piece of wood, I was expecting like a little worry stone kind of wood.
Nice.
Well, in a way,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a way, no, that's really good. And again, that also lends itself towards your attraction to the Halfling Temple, and possibly maybe working in the gardens of one of the noble houses that's been hiring outside help. So
did you say was it the Nanthiers that was the ones that were growing things?
Correct.
Yeah, I like the idea of trying to cause some life to appear in this very metal town.
All right. I like it. I like it. So I'm taking notes as I go here. So, all right, Kendrick, you're up. So, what's your first impressions, and what do you think so far? How's your character reacting? Oh, I don't have audio.
Shadows everywhere.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Shadows and wonderful smells of diesel type smells, oil and metal and all that good stuff. Fire. The sound of innovation and the mechanics required to put that innovation into place. That's the beauty of this town. And, you know, there's always a seedy element, too. I mean, nobody wants to steal from the friendly farmer, but there's all kinds of riffraff here. We can be stealing all day without even feeling bad about it.
Very true. All right. So, as you guys are settling in for the evening or for the afternoon, Eldred Pentward, a human of shortened stoutness, stops by one of the local pubs where you guys are known to hang out, and in the process of you guys having a leisurely afternoon, he actually wants to interrupt that just a little bit. And it's for the reason of meeting Yulblin, the halfling who heads up this huge trade concern. So he gathers you guys up from this small establishment and says, "I want you guys to follow me. We have a possible opportunity for you over at the Devil's Tavern, or Devil's Fire Tavern. So follow me, and I'll bring you guys over." So as he does that, you guys exit the small pub where you're at. It's located on the southwest of town, close to the docks. So you guys get a wonderful smell of the harbor. Some of the seagulls who actually will strive to work their way through some of the gray and smoke and some of the disgustingness around here manage to eke out a bit of a living. So they're wheeling above you, adding a little bit of life to this more than industrious area. So in your journals, you should have access to the Devil's Fire Tavern. And just to kind of give you a shot of what it looks like, this wonderful establishment was actually started by an ex-pirate named of Corwin Jaff, and bought the building from a merchant who had long since moved to a better location. And he hired local vagrants and beggars to renovate the place. So while pragmatic when it comes to discussing what's sold in his tavern, you know, he doesn't want to get too crazy with what kind of things are being sold there. He wants to make some money. Corwin is thought to be fairly generous and a personable sort, especially when he's willing to hire, the local down and outers to actually, get some kind of work under the belt. So the tavern is not what you'd consider clean by the average scale, but for an ex-pirate, Corwin is well within his bounds, and he feels it's a sight cleaner than the wreck that he used to sail upon. And I think I spelled wretch there, didn't I? Customers are generally rough and ready lot, and they primarily made of humans. So when you guys walk into the front door, even Eldred, who's actually of an average on the short side, you guys, I guess maybe over time or last month, you guys have kind of gotten used to the predominantly human population. So I don't think that's really a problem. But when you guys do enter, there are a few heads that turn just simply because it's a group of 2 dwarves and a halfling that are arriving.
Now, is this background just common knowledge throughout town?
Correct.
Do we all know he's an ex-pirate? Do we all know that this is kind of the place where shady doings are done?
Absolutely. The interesting thing about the Devil's Fire Tavern is that while everyone knows that Corwin was a pirate, they appreciate the fact that he's gone the straight and narrow. But they have no problem leveraging his old skills.
So they
and
think.
those skills involve secrecy. They involve privacy when certain conversations need to be heard out of the hearing of the town guard, and they do enjoy their anonymity in a place like this. So
So,
it's a
so
good
when people say they know a guy, it's usually Corwin.
Very true. Very true. So, as you guys approach the Devil's Fire Tavern, you already have a different sense of this particular area. You already have a feeling that, all right, we're getting into the rougher side of town. Not that Melvaunt is by any means an easy place to live, but this particular area, it's getting to be dark, and some of the sailors have come down from the ships and decided, we're going to get into our cups and maybe have a fight or two, or I don't know, maybe even play a game of cards or whatever. See what happens. In this particular establishment, there are many denizens. You're being led in by a short and round gentleman by the name of Eldred Pentwort, who is one serviceman for Yublin the Halfling, who runs the big trade shop further up the docks. And Yublin has asked for an audience with our three heroes. So heading into the local tavern, it's noisy. There's a lot of folks in there. A lot of drinking going on, a lot of carousing going on. There's gambling everywhere. Kendrick, you actually get a couple appreciable nods from some of the folks in the tavern as recognizing another man in the business.
Baird literally walks through, and I just want to be utterly disgusted with everything. Like, it's visible on my face how disgusted I am.
Some of the folks are giving you the evil eye as well, Mr. Baird, thinking, well, if this guy's going to traverse into our home, well, maybe he should be nicer. But it's all on the inside.
It's not going to happen.
Silas, how are you enjoying the place? As you walk in, it's again, it's seedy. You walk onto the grounds. I don't know what kind of shoes you guys are wearing, but it's the floor's sticky with at least 3-year-old ale that was never cleaned up, even from the previous owners. So, how's your reaction coming in?
I feel the same as I do with this whole city. My cloak is drawn up tight around me. I am trying to be as small and as distant and as foreign as possible.
All right.
I love this. You got two guys who just absolutely hating life right now. And the other guy's like, "Hey, bud, what's going on? Hey, Bob, how you doing?"
So yeah, speaking of which, Kendrick, how are you reacting? A place that you've been in a few times. You've been in here a few times.
Well, you always want to look around for that new guy that's probably out of place and is an easy target. But unfortunately, I just brought 2 of those with me. So
Yeah.
so I want to I wonder if there's any more.
Gotcha. All right. Well, we could prepare to roll some dice, gentlemen, if you guys wish to proceed with some perception checks. That will be under your skills section.
Skills. So I'm not sure.
Oh, yes!
Perception. So.
All right.
Yeah, I believe I see everything.
Yes, you do. And then, Kendrick, did you find your skill roll?
Yeah, so my perception, so this is a question, I got, do I have a bonus here on perception?
It would be built in.
Whatever your wisdom bonus is, that's what your perception bonus is. If you're trained in it, you get a little bit more bonus.
My wisdom is just 1, okay. But, okay, that's good. Alright, so if I click on wisdom here.
Actually, go to the skills tab.
And then click the dice next to perception.
You got it.
Man, I'm off of it today.
You're too busy keeping an eye on us.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. All right, so as you guys are walking in, um, Kendrick is diverting his attention back and forth between, I've got two friends that they're from a different world. They're not from this world, and I kind of want to keep an eye out for them. I mean, like you said before, Mike, even though you are a thief at heart, a lot of that heart is good. So you are trying to keep an eye out for your friends. Silas, I mean, you're walking in and you're starting to kind of look around and see some things, but I mean, as you're moving in through that front door, those first few steps, you're like, what the heck am I in? I mean, come on, first it's bad enough outside, everything's just so mechanical and disgusting, and just everything that could be alive, like a piece of wood or anything, has just been used to throw ale on in here. So it's not giving you a very comfortable feeling, and it doesn't help when there's a lot of eyes that have been turning your way.
And then I'm staring into the heart of darkness here.
And then Mr. Baird, as he walks in, he strides in with quite a bit of confidence and self-awareness of knowing the kind of God that he serves, and then understanding that the place that he's in right now would definitely not be considered a temple of his. However,
and it's gross. It's just gross.
It is. The people here, I mean, as you're looking around, you're seeing people's eyes. A lot of them are kind of already getting that reddish yellow tinge of having too much ale in them and whatever other stronger drink. Some of the guys have proceeded on to drinking a good healthy portion of rot gut, the local half-orc brew, and the people here, they're all dealing. They're all making deals. They're all in conversations about things. There's a person in the back, a couple in the back table that it's a bench table in the back left corner that actually looks like it could seat 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe even 8 people if you tried to squeeze them in. But there's only 2 people in the back corner that are conversating. And when they see you guys coming in, they immediately look to you, Baird, and they see your. I'm assuming you wear your clothing in such a way that it pronounces, "Hey, I'm a servant of Morden."
Oh, I wear the amulet. I wear my amulet loud and proud.
There you go. So they look at you, they see your amulet, and they make a conscious effort of actually turning their shoulders away from you so that you can't see their faces as they're talking, and you can't read their lips, that sort of thing. And actually, you'll get one or two glances your way that they start to feel a little ashamed. Yeah, you can actually see them. Yeah, you can actually see them looking down at the table and staring into the rim of their beer steins and just kind of uncomfortable about seeing you come in. But about the time when you're starting to see that mixture of reactions, there is one table that's over near the fire that is seated by one person and one person alone, and that's little Yublin the halfling. He stands up on the chair and he waves you guys over. Eldred points you guys in the right direction, and he makes a beeline for the bar. You know for sure that he is a drinker of very rare constitution, and he's going over to order some drinks, whatever you guys would prefer. He'll go ahead and pick that up for you. So he'll look back as he starts making his way, and he'll point at Baird and Silas and Kendrick and whatever you guys would like.
Red wine.
Red wine, Kendrick.
A fine stout.
And a fine stout for Baird. How about you, Kendrick?
Rot gut.
Rot gut.
Oh. Give me the cheap stuff.
Going straight for the bottom of the barrel, are you, boy? All right, then. I like it.
I didn't need that stomach lining anyway.
That's correct. So Eldred makes his way to the bar, and he slams his fist down, and he makes his order. And as you guys come over to the table that's close to the fire, Yublin kind of drops back down onto his chair, and he waves you guys to the open ones that are near you. There's 4 other chairs there. Actually, 5 other chairs, but obviously he put you guys to the chairs closest to him.
I'm not gonna sit. I'm gonna stand.
Hey, what are you doing? Go ahead, sit down. You don't need to have some kind of airs about you. We know you're a good servant, and they all know that you're tough. Come on now, have a seat.
Let me put it this way. I don't know who sat here before me,
No problem, no problem. He like waves over one of the waitresses and asks if they can actually wipe down some of the chairs here, and not looking offended one bit, the lady actually goes back, grabs a few towels or a towel or two, comes back and wipes it down for you. Eldred by that time is returning with his fistful of drinks, and he actually looks down. And he's like, "Oh, nice clean seafood change. I like that." So he sits down and passes the drinks around. Unfortunately, the red wine, while it is good, it is served in a wooden cup. So
I like wood.
there you go. You might like that touch. All right. So why have I gathered you three here? Well, first off, I want you guys to tip your hats over towards the back of the tavern, because right back there is Seamus, one of the bards that you guys saved on your way in back into town 2 weeks ago. And as you guys look over there, sure enough, there's a human bard who is strumming away on a guitar. Looks like he's actually tuning up to do a performance on the small, little, tiny lifted stage that's nearby.
Freebird!
So he waves back, and he actually he doffs his hat to you and puts it back on, just simply from the fact that you guys are probably top on the list for him because you saved him from quite a hairy, scary journey into town. So, we actually lost your connection? Sorry, Kendrick. All right, where did you leave off?
Oh boy. Well, you just asked for drinks. Then I think it was a minute after that.
Okay. Well, you didn't miss much. So you guys are sitting around the table. Barrett actually requested that he would get some clean seats, and
The seats were filthy.
the seats were disgusting, yes. And Yublin, being the magnanimous person that he is, waves over one of the waitresses and has them cleaned down for you. Kendrick, I don't know if you want to wait for the clean seat or you just go ahead and plop down.
I'll sit.
All right.
I just gotta shake my head too.
This is my dive. I need my raw gut and my dirty seat, and you guys are just being prissy.
So, how are things? How have you guys been getting by? I understand that things have been a little bit difficult. We haven't had a job together in quite a while. At least since the last 2 weeks when you brought our friend Seamus over there, the bard, safely into town.
Oh, and let me thank you for that one. Have you ever met a bard who doesn't know a good story? Not one good dwarven tale in the whole lad's catalog.
There are good dwarven tales?
Listen. I don't even have words for you.
Well, you have to admit that, Mr. Bard, that the tales do a bit long after a while, and they tend to.
Romo got muted for me.
Is there a map of the tavern? You're supposed to have a book. It's 10 o'clock at night. No. I saw it at one point, but not tonight. It was the other day. Oh, I can see it on the screen. Yes, sorry. I thought I was looking in the journal.
So now, which table are we at?
Yeah, that was my question.
If you've got a map, we've got us. So
All right. Can you guys hear me okay now?
I can, yeah.
You're
Okay,
like
good.
Echo Master.
All right. Hang on a sec. I think that is from.
I muted
How about
you
that?
and
How's that sound?
I can hear
That's
you.
better. Yeah.
Excellent. All right. So, you guys are over here at this table, and you'll have to pardon me for the tokens. They aren't all that wondrous. Let's see here.
Can we do that? How do we do that?
It's part of his DM wonder magic.
Yes, absolutely. Actually need to switch over to the token settings and then get you guys on there. Alright. I need to get rid of that guy right there, and I do not know how to do so.
One of us is dancing on the table.
Yes. Get down from the table, boy. Ah. Unfortunately, this is not the wonder of Roll20. So we'll have to edit this part out.
Alright.
There's your magic. There we
That's
go.
alright. We don't actually need a map. We just need a basic idea of what's going on.
Yeah.
That's, I was just.
That way, at least you guys can kind of see where everything's at.
I still.
There we go.
Alright, that's the table we're at. That's all I need to know.
There you go.
I don't even need
Alright.
to know that.
All right. So there's your guys.
I just want to
On
make
to-
a slight note here. We have a copyrighted image on this screen. Do we not?
This actually is supplied by Roll20, so
Oh, okay.
it's actually for sharing.
Okay,
So
good.
no worries there.
Yeah,
Okay.
the stuff that we're using in game, all of it. The fact that we're playing D&D is copyrighted. So
Correct.
Well, I
Correct.
mean,
correct,
you
correct.
know what I mean. Like, are we just grabbing these images from the web or what? But if we're using them from Roll20.
They're supplied through the web, but they're actually connected in through Roll20. So what ends up happening is they get kind of brought in from the different various locations at the interwebs. All right. So let's we'll continue back with where we were. So you guys are at the table that is closest to the fire. At the top left-hand map, that's where those two people that Baird that you spotted were kind of talking surreptitiously together.
the Shady Doings table.
Correct.
This one?
Correct. That's the one right there. So, so back to the business at hand. All right, so we'll get back into character here. So, in any case, rather than escorting people, you'll actually be escorting supplies. I have a couple animals that will be loading some various sundries, that sort of thing, that need to be taken to a small outpost, encampment, I guess. Maybe a day or two ride west from town. It's not the best location. It's not the safest journey, but it's something that I feel that you three are quite capable of doing. And I know Silas at least will get you outside of the city walls. Although this place out here, the land around here is mostly tundra, and there are some small sparse forests around that you can at least be able to see some nature that you might have been missing inside these walls. But in any case, a delivery, it shouldn't take you more than 2 days, 3 at the outset.
And what exactly is it that we're going to be transporting for you?
Well, unfortunately, it's something that I am not at liberty to share with you just yet.
And how
And he
much
kind
would
of sits
it be-
back and he grins a little bit and scratches his head and remains silent for the moment.
Depending on the risk, changes the cost.
Whatever the cargo, any place is better than this.
That's the kind of spirit I was hoping.
I'm quite sure I agree with you there, but I will not be party to any sort of shady doings.
Shady doings. That's offensive to me, sir.
This is business.
It might be business.
It is
might
business.
be no. It might be business. I don't want to end up in jail.
Right. Quite right. I understand your concern, and it's not something that would be underhanded or even something that the town watch wouldn't even know about. In fact, you'll be checking in with the gate as you depart. So it's not something that you have to be worried about as far as what you'll be transporting. The reason I can't tell you quite yet what exactly is inside those boxes because I knew, Master Bear, that you would want to know. I unfortunately don't know all of the particulars just yet. I do know that there is going to be some food and sundries in there, but whether there's more than that, I know not just yet.
What is the reward?
Reward,
A trip such as this?
You know, I am always responsible for the remunerations of my employees. I've got it on good authority that I can pay you well for this. The reason being is that it is going to involve some bit of danger. You've been on this road before, you know that there are some occasional problems with goblins, and in some cases kobolds, but it's a small affair compared to the abilities that you guys have. But as far as payment goes, I would be looking at 10 gold each one way, and 10 gold each the return way. Half at the beginning and half when you return.
The return. So are we going to be trading some goods and bringing them back to you?
I am so glad you asked that, Kendrick. Thank you very much. Yes, in fact, there will be some material that you'll be bringing back with you. As far as what that material is depends upon how pleased they are with what we are delivering to them on the delivery, the first leg of the journey.
Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, good. So we're taking something that we don't quite know what it is, bringing it to people that we don't quite know, and then their response will be dependent on the service that they get. Oh, that's bloody fantastic. I love this.
Baird.
No.
There's a very good chance there'll be greenskins to slay along the way.
Well, alright then. We can do this.
I knew it'd be just the gentleman that I could come to for this type of help. In the interest of time and the interest of making sure that I get every ounce of information I could possibly get for you, let me depart right now. I'll go and acquire more information and have it back to you in, say, 1 hour. I can return here if you don't mind. If you don't mind waiting.
I do. But I will.
Oh, thank you very much, Silas. I appreciate it. I'll make sure that you're well fed and not from the stars that have been staying out on the tables for a long time and being repurposed, as sometimes they will do. But fresh food. I'll make sure that you get some fresh food. And plus, you'll be able to hear Seamus play for a little while. That'll give you a little bit of entertainment while you wait for me.
Oh, that's a perk, is it? Fantastic.
Sorry, no dwarvish tales, but perhaps I can find out if he knows anything.
I'm no dwarves at tales.
Quite right, Sam is quite right. I like that. I'll see if he knows any songs about caves. Maybe that might cheer you up.
Look there.
Yeah, I'm just in a constant state of just shaking my head. Just absolutely dumbstruck by this.
Well then, it seems that we have somewhat of an accord, but we'll finalize information as soon as I return. So he hops up on top of his chair and he waves the waitress over and says, "My lady, present these gentlemen with the better food from the pantry, not the repurposed food, if you know what I mean." A couple people at the neighboring table look over like, huh? One of them's taking a bite out of something that looks like a rib, but you're not quite sure, and he's not quite sure as he looks back down at it and he drops it on his plate.
I'll take one of those.
So, has anything, while we've been having our little conversations, has anything been going on with the guys over in the corner there? Have I noticed anything else? Are they still just actively avoiding me, or has anything else happened?
Well, let's have you do an insight check now. You've been able to put your eyeball on him for a little bit.
I'm actually proficient in insight.
There you go.
Ooh. You should be proficient at pretty much everything, those dice rolls.
That's true. Alright, so what do we
Except
have?
for this. I'm apparently so disgusted by this place that I don't know how to read these people.
And Silas has not had better luck with his roll as well. How about... oh, we lost Mr. Basha.
I have a +5 and I couldn't even break 10.
I'm not lost. I'm just trying to figure out how to do that roll.
Oh,
On the skills chat.
Gotcha. You just lost your we lost your camera feed in the roll 20.
Oh really?
Yeah. I think your connection might have dropped there.
Part of me wonders if Baird can't read these guys, he's just gonna walk up and say, like, "Can I help you with something?"
What kind of check is that?
An insight check. So if you check under your skills. There we go.
Awesome. 2 critical fails.
Oh.
Oh boy! All right, so you guys are you two actually, Silas and Kendrick, glance over and see Baird eyeballing the corner table, and Baird over the rim of his drink is really giving him the stink eye, just trying to figure out why the heck are they commiserating like two thieves.
I pipe up a little bit. Baird, mind your business.
I don't know what it is, but I don't trust him.
You're not supposed to trust him. He's a barkeep in a seedy bar. It's for the adventure.
Kendrick's looking over there, and he's looking at the way. Again, they're kind of faced away from you, so they're leaning across the bench table that's there, and their backs are to you, so that their shoulder, one guy's left shoulder is in, and the other guy's right shoulder is in, and they're talking.
And I'm kind of pulling, based on what you were saying, I'm kind of pulling one of these. I'm talking behind my mug kind of things, as I'm basically saying, look, we all know I don't have any love for anyone in this place, but those two, the second I saw them, turned their head around. Lots of people don't mind me looking. Well, maybe they mind a little. Those guys made a point to make sure I wasn't paying attention to what they're doing.
Alright. Here's what I'm going to do. I move over toward Baird and I say to him, do you remember the time when we were assisting Kendrick in his removal from a certain, shall we say, governmental office?
Assistant would be a kinder word than what I would use, but yes.
So I'm going, with that signal, I kind of get Baird to know that something's going to happen real quickly. Tell Kendrick to know. Kendrick is going to maybe run into a waitress. Baird is going to do his best to disappear into the crowd, and I'm going to cast an illusion of Baird and have that illusion move toward their table, acting as if it's, just getting away from the hubbub of Kendrick's faux pas.
Okay, all right. Let's see here. So, judging by the associated skills that we may have going on here, so you've got your illusion that you'll be using, Silas. Baird, you are going to be. How are you going to pull this off? How do you want to work this?
Hold on, I want to double check some things here. Hold on.
Okay.
Check the various cantrips. See if I did pick this one. I did not pick thaumaturgy, so I am basically going to just. It's not going to end well.
Under the table, Baird.
Yeah, I pretty much am just gonna duck. Which I don't know if you want to call that a stealth check. I'm kind of hoping you don't, but
All right. Well, let's take a look at some of those skills that could possibly be used here. So, a good lesson for folks around. Let's see. We've got acrobatics that could be used. Off of acrobatics. Let's see here. What else? You've got your
I was
performance
supposed
now.
to pick 4 skills that I don't think we picked yet, and I'm not sure how to pick them exactly.
All right.
As a rogue,
So you're gonna want stealth.
yes.
Yeah.
Maybe acrobatics.
Yeah. I think Baird, hit me with an athletics check.
oh, athletics is not bad. I can do that.
Because you're basically just kind of muscling your way under the table.
I am just literally shimmying under the table.
All right.
Could be worse.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
Not bad.
All right.
How does that
So
work?
simultaneous
Lower
to
the
that.
2 scores?
Say again?
Is that the low? How do these work? Is it the lower of the 2 scores?
The one on the left.
No. Yeah, basically we determined that the roll 20 basically rolls 2 in case you have advantage. But if you in cases like this where I don't have advantage, we're just using the one to the left.
Oh, okay, okay. That's what we talked about that earlier. Okay.
I'm going to try and get you guys in here. Alright, so I will promise I'll come up with better tokens for you guys unless you guys want to take a look and see what you find on the interwebs. And we can work on that. But, alright, so at this time then, Baird, you rolled exceptionally well. And as Silas, you cast your illusion, Baird is able to slip under the table at this stage, and the illusory Baird begins making his way towards the table in the back. All right, Kendrick, what are you doing?
Let's see. I can choose. I'm supposed to make a diversion of some type, right?
Correct.
Alright, so I'm not sure if this makes a difference or not, but I can choose 4 from acrobatics, athletics, deception, insight, intimidation, investigation, perception, performance, persuasion, and sleight of hand and stealth.
Right.
So maybe
Well,
it's not the right time to do this, but how do I put those in at, let's see, skills?
Where you go to, there's a drop down for proficient, yes, no. Just set 4 of them to yes.
Okay. So
Bearing in mind the type of character that you want to be, you don't have to rush it. I mean, if you're wanting to decide here, you can take a minute or two to get that taken care of. That's no big deal.
From kind of the way you've described yourself, I think sleight of hand is probably going to be one.
or stealth, right? Probably sleight of hand.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
both. Probably both.
Deception would be a good.
Except
Yeah.
I'm not,
In this
I'm
case,
I can already tell you that deception is not kind of my thing, because that's more of a charisma kind of thing, and I'm already
Well-
negative 1 on my charisma, and intimidation is not going to be my thing, right? Well,
Young Bosch is power gaming again.
that's what I'm supposed to do. You're supposed to power game. You're supposed to know your strengths. Power game. You say it like it's such a bad thing. Is it really a bad thing?
I love it. It's hilarious.
It's how it's supposed to. How did I get 2 to religion? Oh, because my intelligence.
Well, what makes it perfect is just because you're new to the game, but at the same time you've got a background in numbers, so that also helps.
Yeah,
It
so
just adds to the mystique of the power gamer.
Alright,
You could go investigation
that's,
and maybe
I have an investigation.
acrobatics.
Okay, so right now I'm at aerobatics, investigation, stealth, and sleight of hand.
Seems good to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now
that
our
works.
friendly DM will tell you what he wants you to do.
All right.
All right, so you've got
goes.
your skills set up. I'm
Mhm.
putting 2 tokens there just to kind of represent who that is. All right, so what are you gonna go with? Let's see here. You've got your deception set up. I'd say deception would be the one that you want to go with as far as trying to make a distraction. I know charisma is not your strong suit, but you got a +2, and you never know, the dice might fall your way.
How do you figure I got a +2 in deception?
He didn't pick deception as a.
Oh, I didn't. Am I not reading that right here? I'm seeing a. Let me go back here.
Investigation.
I'm looking at this through the Google Hangout, so let me go back to my screen, pull up his character sheet. Oops. Just the character sheet, please.
That's Arcana.
All right.
Arcana.
Oh, I see. -1. Never mind. I was looking at the wrong guy there. Okay.
You could certainly do something with sleight of hand.
Yeah. Let's do that. Let's go for that. We'll do sleight of hand there, and then if things go sideways with that roll, I'll have you do a quick stealth roll right after that.
Okay, so sleight of hand roll.
Let's do it.
10, 11. And I need pass is 14. What does that mean?
Pass is 14. I'm not seeing that.
It's on my sheet. I don't know what pass means.
That's passive.
Passive.
Oh, your passive.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So,
That right there is something that's nice and important for the GM to know, is your passive perception. So that's the kind of things that you'll notice just kind of walking around. Basically, what that does for me is that I don't have to. And I think I might have mentioned this in the first podcast, but when you have a passive perception, the real great thing for a GM is that I don't have to sit there and go, "Hey guys, roll a perception check," and you're like, "Oh crud, he's up to something." He's up to something. At least with a passive perception check, I can kind of say, okay, they may pick up on this, they may not, and then I'll invite you to roll as appropriate. Okay, so what was your result again? You got a 10?
10, 11. Yep, a 10. Yep.
All right. So, Kendrick, that gives you a reasonable success. You have a couple of options here. I'll let you role play this out. You've got another barmaid that's coming by that's heading to the table on the southwest of the room, and she's got a tray full of steins. Then you have the young man, or the older man, Eldred, is at the table right now, and he's actually getting up and he's heading back to the bar to get another drink. Basically is giving you guys the look that he wants no part of what you guys are about to do. And he gets up and he moves off. Not so much that he doesn't think you guys can handle whatever you're about to do, but just he doesn't want to be a part of it. So you got a couple options here. You've got passing barmaid, you've got Eldred getting up, and then of course you've got the bar that's right behind you. Your token is the little green guy that's there on the top right hand side of the table you're at.
Let's go with the bar.
Okay, so you're heading over to the bar, and what are you going to be doing?
Let's see here. Alright, we're gonna go back to the barmaid.
So
That one's more obvious.
Kendrick's about to stand up and head to the bar, but then he plops himself back down as the barmaid starts walking by, and
let's see, I'm gonna distract the barmaid and tank one of her tankards destined for that table.
okay.
And when she gets over there, she'll have to she'll be a little confused, and she'll have to figure out what she's going to do about it. That might give us a necessary distraction.
Right. So the barmaid walks by. She's got her tray full of steins. Silas is working his magics and preparing his illusion. Baird is about to expertly dive under the table as the illusory Baird stands up and begins walking towards that our two strange fellows in the back. Barmaid walks by. Kendrick reaches up to grab a stein, and as he grabs the stein, he pulls it back. It sloshes on her arm, and she looks down and sees that there's beer coming down on her arm, and she's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" But then she bumps into another bartender or another barmaid and ends up dropping the whole tray of beer all over the ground just south of the table. The resulting conflagration of annoyances and verbal exchanges that border on the colorful provide you with enough of a distraction that the illusion appears to be straightforward. Baird is standing up and heading towards the table. So,
What do they do?
All right. So the two men are actually still have their shoulders turned away, and Kendrick, as you look over, again, owing to the roll that you had for perception beforehand, remembering that, keeping that in mind. But what you're seeing is it looks like the guy is actually jiggling something like close to his ear like this as he's leaning back, and you see him just kind of go like that. And then the other guy does this, and he kind of goes like this, and then he goes like that. So you're seeing that over their shoulder. But as the cleric, the illusory cleric, strides over towards the table, the two men scramble and start pulling things from the table and start scooping it over into a bag that's in the back left corner. And they look over, and they both are scowling as two humans, rough-shaven. They look like they're your standard vagabond/cutthroats, probably street toughs that you'd be able to hire on any corner in this neighborhood. They look over and they see the illusory dwarf coming by, and from their height and your relative height, Baird, you're looking about eye level, or at least the illusory one is looking about eye level.
This Baird is actually cowering under a table right now.
Yeah, that's right. So the illusory...
Crouching.
Yeah.
That's right, crouching. No one cowers a dwarf. So the illusory Baird is heading forward. Silas, how are you controlling the illusion? What is it going to do now as it approaches?
He's gonna walk up to him and stand and stare at them in a very Baird-like fashion.
I love that Baird already has a Baird-like fashion.
So, what's the Baird-like fashion? Is it your big sausage thumbs hooked under your big belt buckle that's dedicated to Morden, glaring at them and basically in no uncertain
Polishes
terms.
up the amulet.
There you go. And the simple gaze of the lawful good cleric staring over at these two miscreants with no question needed to be asked, but just the eyes tell them, or ask them, demand of them, what in the Sam Hill are you two doing?
Yep.
And so the one in the back corner does something, shuffles something behind the bench. You guys can't quite see what's happening, especially with the illusory Baird now in the way. But the one that's closer to him, that's on the right side of the table, looks over, and you see him pull the hilt of the dagger out from under his leather jerkin, and he says, "Hey, what are you looking at? You don't need to be here. Get your scruffy dwarf person out of here. Ain't you got a temple to build?"
And under the table, I'm like, yes, I do, actually.
And I need converts.
Instead, I'm under a bloody table.
Oi! Oi! You deaf? You deaf? Huh? You need to get little cavern rocks out of your ears? Go on, get out of here before I trim that beard of yours.
I have him pull his illusory hammer. Assume you have a hammer.
Oh yeah, I have a warhammer.
So the illusory dwarf pulls out his hammer, and he brandishes it in a mildly threatening way, I would assume.
Can you be mildly threatening by holding a warhammer?
It's irony, good sir.
Yeah.
And the man, basically you hear the clatter as he drops the dagger onto the bench or table in front of him. He says, "Oi, oi, oi, oi! We're just kidding about a beer thing. You want a drink or something? There's no reason to raise a fuss, no reason to bring the hammer around, huh? Well, you go back to your table. I'll see about getting you some grog or something. Come on now. Friendly chap, friendly chap. Now the fellow on the other side of the table, however, is cool as a cucumber, and he's sitting there and he's watching that illusion, and he's drumming his fingers along the table. Both hands are on top of the table right now, and he's facing forward. Facing towards the right now, but he's looking right at that illusion. And time for the GM to roll something. Let's see here. Now I have to navigate this. Right.
I'm about to say, I have a funny feeling we don't get to see GM dice.
Yeah, sure. I'm not going to hide anything like that. 20. Alright. Pull it. Here comes, here comes, here comes. Yeah, alright. From the distance that you are right now from that table, you can tell that he's trying to put a little oomph into his stare. This cool and collected customer. He's basically trying to get the illusory dwarf to back down now before there's trouble. And let's have you three perform a perception check. Now, Silas, you're maintaining the illusion, correct?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to put you at a disadvantage, all right? So on your roll, just take the lowest one that you get. All right.
11.
Still not too bad. Very nice. 15 for Baird, and then how about our little dwarf here? A 7.
Sleight of hand, sorry.
That was a dex. That's not even right.
Oh, that's fine, that's fine.
That's not even right.
I did.
He slips his hands up towards his face and he focuses blinders straight towards the come on.
Perception
Hey,
check?
We'll there you go. That's
worse.
worse. Even worse. Okay. All right. So, Baird notices this, and Silas hears something in the distance, but he can't look away to break his concentration on what the illusion's doing, just in case he needs to have him be a little bit more threatening. Baird, you hear the scrunching of table chairs coming from the bottom right-hand part of the map.
We're getting into a bar fight, gentlemen.
All right, so what we have here is we have a failure to communicate. No, I'm just kidding. You have got 3 individuals who are standing up at one of the tables down here. Let me go ahead and pop them onto the map here real quick. And of course they aren't very big, but we'll have him standing up here, heading over and looking that way. We'll have this guy here.
For some reason, I only see part of the map.
Ah, you are correct, sir. That's because other parts are behind the bar and the rear parts of the area. You know that further down that hallway, Kendrick, are sleeping quarters and also a supply room, and there's also a private dining room that's back there. It's just a single table with a couple chairs.
So why is it that we don't see behind the bar? You got like fog of war turned on or something back
Correct.
there? Oh, okay.
Well, you should be able to see that the bar right there. You should be able to see right there.
I can see the
just
bar.
don't have any folks. I don't have any folks actually populating that particular area.
Yeah, I can see right here, nothing.
From there beyond there.
Yeah.
Oh, I see your little guy now.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. That is. Let me open that up a little bit. There you go. How's that?
Perfect.
Making more sense? Alright.
But my point is you're intentionally doing that, right?
Correct. Correct. Actually, I noticed that part of this is not showing.
The way my perception dex rolls are coming out, I'm just surprised I can see past my table.
Alright, you guys. So, what are you going to do at this point? You've got 3 guys that have stood up. Some of the music in the distance that you're kind of hearing, musicians tuning up, and then there's one that's on a stage that's a little bit further in the bar. The music's still going. People are still chattering. You haven't heard that traditional sound of everybody going
I think there's only one option, really.
Yeah, Baird needs to tell a story.
I light up Baird.
Oh, you're gonna explode the illusionary bear?
No, I just have him, you know, it looks as if he is not burning, but aflame with a holy fire.
I'm picturing Andre the Giant.
Right. I am the Dread Pirate Roberts.
Exactly. There you go.
Nice.
Very nice.
Have
Okay.
him book it with his hammer. Just book it into the crowd, the illusionary one. Just run straight across the bar and into the crowd, and that will give us whatever distraction we need to actually take.
Alright.
And actually, I'm going to have him jump up on our table, like light up with this holy fire and jump up on our table, and that will be your hint there, Baird, to give voice to our little illusion.
Alright, so you're having the illusion come back to the table, and he is going to hop up on top of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're doing? Okay. Alright. So, what we'll be doing here is, let's see here.
This has got to give us at least advantage for one turn.
At least one turn, right? Alright, so he hops up here, and he starts glowing with some kind of strange light. Something that just seems to just pour from within him. Let's see here. I thought it had little aura things that it actually did, but not quite giving me the result that I was hoping for. Yeah, bummer. All right, so that is done. So Kendrick, what are you going to be doing at this stage?
I think I need to sneak around and get behind somebody so I can use my my sneak attack, if that's even possible at this point.
Are you drawing weapons, or are you just trying to get behind something?
I want to draw weapons. Is it time to draw weapons?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
We have a dwarf with a warhammer standing on the table. I think weapons are going to be drawn. I want to make sure I'm the first one out.
Give me a sec.
I'm trying to give him the chance to preach his way out of a corner, so to speak.
All right.
Alright,
I want to see this, but I want to be prepared. So maybe
Oh, we're always prepared.
Do you want to? You could maybe dive behind a table, maybe even hop the bar and dive behind that.
I don't think I need to dive. I think I just need to shift, maybe.
Blend into the crowd, so to speak.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. He.
From the table.
Dwarven Roo can.
All right. So he'll head. So you'll head over to like maybe in the bar area, and there's people around you right now. I haven't populated the map very well, but use your imagination. That's the name of the game, boys. All right. And Silas is very successfully orchestrating the illusion as a house of table, and Barrett says.
Okay. So the big thing is that illusionary Baird has never looked back at the table behind him.
Okay.
The one where the guys is standing up. He's always locked eyes with the two guys at the table.
Okay.
And he's gonna basically and he's gonna hold up the amulet, and he's pretty much gonna say, "Do you not know? Do you not know the All-Father? The All-Father gives knowledge, like the knowledge of the three gentlemen you got standing back behind us." And he says, "Do not mess with me. Do not draw blade. Today, I know everything. Do not step to me."
All right.
Oh, we might have some kind of connection issue here.
I just noticed that.
It just dropped the video.
Oh, come on.
Maybe
Well,
I'll
it looks
come
like
back.
it's still. It looks like it's still doing the. It's still doing the.
Yeah, just in our little boxes there.
Yeah. Mike, you still there?
I'm still
Yeah,
here.
I'm still
All
here.
right. Good job. Both mics are here. All right. So, let's me view something here real quick.
Yeah,
Sable and
I just wanted to be that illusionary Baird has no way of knowing the three gentlemen behind him are getting up because regular Baird is under the table seeing it.
Yeah, I get that. That's cool.
no, that was awesome. That's an excellent rule there, or excellent play there. All right, so not that it's exceedingly necessary, but throw me. Let's see here. Throw me an intimidation check here.
Just Baird.
Yeah, just Baird right now. Actually, and then once that's done, Silas, since you are controlling the illusory Baird, if you can throw out an assist for me here. Not sure if that's exactly in the Dungeons and Dragons rules, but I'm going to play it fast and loose on the DM side here. So if you can do check as well. There you go. All right, cool. So as your voice billows out and you make this incredible pronouncement, the music in the taverns goes quiet. As you've noticed, the music has stopped. The people have stopped. Everybody is looking in the direction of the glowing dwarf on top of the table. Eldred, Kendrick, who is over by the bar, realizes that he's standing next to Eldred, and he looks over at Eldred, and who's not too much taller than you are, Kendrick, and he's got a couple of steins of beer that he was bringing back to the table. He actually downs one of the steins of beer.
I love it.
He's about ready to down this one, but decides to hand it to you, Kendrick. And everybody looks back and forth between the people at the table in the bottom right-hand corner and the two men at the table in the front. The cool customer, his eyes narrow and he looks at the cleric on top of the table. The flames like are rippling across his face. Even if he's an illusion, it just adds so much presence to him. The glow that's coming from within, the glow that's coming from the fire, and the man he closes his eyes and he looks down at the table and he shakes his head. And the other guy, though, the one that's on the right-hand side of the table, is positively jittery with fear. And he is he's looking like he's about ready to go ahead and just make for the door and leave. But he looks back at the guy next to him, and the guy just, again, shakes his head and just tells him to wait. And he looks down on the other side of the room, past the glowing embers of the cleric, and he sees the three men over there, and he waves a hand, and they all return to their seats. And he patiently looks up. And he looks at Baird, or what he thinks is Baird, and. What do you want, dwarf?
And so now I'm going to take away the street preacher billowing and bluster, and basically.
And I turn down the flames.
Yeah, the flames turn down, the lights stop glowing most of the way.
Okay.
And I'm just going to continue on with the illusion that my illusion knows everything, even though he clearly doesn't.
All right.
And I'm basically going to say, and just walk. I'm gonna kind of nudge under the table, and get Silas to walk him over, and just kind of put his hands on the table, and almost just above a whisper, just be like. Why don't you just admit it? And just leave it at that.
The calm man, he scratches at his nose and he's all right. I'll bite. You seem like a very proper sort. Fish out of water in a place like this. Although a very bright fish. But
shiny fish.
My employee and I were simply We were simply playing a game of dice. He like reaches over and pulls up the satchel that's next to him, and inside are assorted objects, different objects. I mean, there's a silvered candlestick. There is a what looks like a small book, probably about the size of your hand. He like kind of shifts through it a little bit and pulls out a second pouch, and in that pouch he dumps out some dice onto the table. And as he's shifting around inside the pouch, well, maybe I might have said too much because you're an illusion and you can't see all of this stuff, but you do see a silver candlestick inside the bag that he has next to him. Look, we happened upon some things in the evening, and we got into an argument about who managed to acquire more, and so we thought, well, why fight? We've been friends for ages, why don't we just dice for them? And then you came in, and Spineless over here starts feeling guilty. So, what do you want? Do you want us to return all of it? Do you want to take all of it and you can go about your business and stop pestering us?
I've no need for it. But that's not yours. And it should be returned to whoever it is you stole it from.
Oh, man. Just take the stuff. We can use it for something. It's shiny.
So,
don't.
But you're gonna call the town watch on us now, huh?
I'm hoping I don't need to.
You hear a couple chairs scrape over by the door, and a couple people head out. they just depart. They're like, we don't want any part of that.
What's happening with the three guys? I'm watching.
Three guys have sat back down at their table, but they are looking over and just kind of waiting for a sign. Like, is there going to be a problem here? Do they need to do something about it? But they're clearly looking at this guy in the corner as their boss. That much Kendrick.
Oi guy?
Yeah. Now, why don't you, Mr. Kendrick, if you would so indulge me, and let's see here, I want to check your character sheet here real quick. And I think one thing that's different about Dungeons and Dragons is that there's not the normal knowledge local, that sort of thing, but give me do a sleight of hand check. We'll do that. I'll use that as kind of like a baseline.
Sleight of hand.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Ooh, that's nice and solid.
See what the dice are. There's the chat window. All right.
Very good. All right then.
Yeah.
So, all right, Kendrick, as you're looking over, you notice the dynamic pretty clearly. That these guys are probably part of a group. Which, I mean, they're probably part of the local thieves guild, and there's probably 2 or 3 of them in town at this stage. I mean, you know of one for sure because you've worked with them, but these guys aren't part of that one. But they are a cadre. They are a group. They look like they're tight-knit because they are exchanging those kinds of looks between men that, either you've been in the field of battle or you've been in a less scrupulous field of business. And it's just those nonverbal communications that are predominant in this world. So this criminal underbelly. So you know that they're saying a lot without saying anything.
I do have Thieves' Cant.
Okay.
I can pick up on Thieves' Cant, but I don't know if that means that they're talking to me or not. But
they're not talking to you, although with that particular type of role, you are noticing that they are using some hand gestures, basically saying, "Keep calm. Let's not let things get out of hand. It's an important night." And that's what you pick up. keep calm. Let's not let things get out of hand. It's an important night.
So I wonder if this important night has anything to do with this journey that we've been asked to take.
All right. One thing that because of the fact that, I mean, granted, I could go metagame and list out all the things that you said that I couldn't actually see but saw. Can I do insight to see if I believe him that he's basically dicing for whatever he got that night?
Sure. Absolutely. Alright. He is telling the truth. And you've put a few people to the question when it comes to this sort of unscrupulous activity, especially when they're so nonchalant with their criminal behavior.
Okay, based on that role and kind of the fact that he did cop to stealing stuff and not knowing the whole hand gestury dealy, Baird basically is prepared to just walk away and hope that they make the right decision.
It's time for go and sin no more.
Yeah.
Alright. Okay, so you so is that's physically what you do? You'll I don't know if you want to signal Silas to get that kind of thing.
Basically, I'll kind of do the little nudge, say, "Hey, it's time," and then we'll basically do another switch out where Silas will break it just as I stand up.
Okay. All right. That makes for a good communication, and it also makes for a little bit of calming of the ruffled feathers, and things start kind of getting back to normal as the people kind of go back to their drinks and their hopefully not their second-hand food, but they go back to their meals. And Eldred somehow has already gathered 2 more steins of beer and is coming back to the table and gives Kendrick another one. And you guys return to your table. The 2 men in the corner, they remain where they are. They lean in close to each other again and they start conversating. Kendrick, I don't know if you're heading back to the table or if you're going to stick with the bar there for a moment.
Is what's his name? Iberlin?
Eldred.
Eldred.
Yeah.
Is he at the bar still?
Yeah, he's still there. He's ordering more drinks. He went ahead and finished his drink already, and he gave you one, so you have one there.
I want to see somehow I can get more information from him.
All right.
About our thing tonight.
All right. So you start chatting him up. So how do you want to approach it? He's already kind of getting a little tipsy, and plus the fact of the high energy situation that just occurred, he's more willing to imbibe liquor than he normally already is.
How about I do a bit of a bar trick to soften him up, and then maybe I do a bar trick.
Game school style.
To bet it out. Exactly, it's game school style. Let's do a sleight of hand bar trick against him, kind of as a dare to tell me more.
All right. So you're giving him the entertainment right there at the bar. Let's see how well you do.
So roll a sleight of hand.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. So what sort of implements are you using? Or do you have a coin trick? Or are you doing a card trick? Or
coin, card, toothpick, something like that.
All right.
Cards are probably good. I don't think I have a deck of cards, so.
Yeah, you could. That's fine. This line of business, it's always nice. It's a good icebreaker to have some form of way of getting a game going. So, all right. So Kendrick is at the bar and he pulls a deck of cards out from somewhere. He does a gesture with his hand, and all of a sudden he's got a deck of cards in his hand, and he starts shuffling around. And Eldred's more than happy to not return to the table that had been the center of attention just moments ago, and he actually manages to get a bench or a stool next to the bar, and he sits down and he watches as he's drinking. And the flourish with which Kendrick is doing this card trick, which involves pulling a set of 3 of those cards and actually being able to take a toothpick and putting holes in each of those cards, and then somehow managing to repair the cards without having made it look like he pulled extra cards from somewhere else. Just a miraculous trick, near so much as you can say so when a cleric is in the room. Even the other people that are at the bar and the bartender himself is actually watching as you finish the trick. And as you finish, you wave everybody, and they say, "Oh wow, that was amazing! Give him another round, maybe he'll do another trick or something." And but you wave it off, but it gives you that in with Eldred, with Eldred, to kind of open up a little bit about what's going on. So, how do you want to discuss that with him?
Well, he wasn't the one that originally gave us the deal, right?
He brought you in, and you know that he works closely with Yublin.
Yeah, and Yublin's off for an hour or so, which we probably used up some of that time. So wondering if if I could ask Eldred if he knows what the important thing is that's going on tonight, or and if it's related to this job that we've been asked to do.
Important thing, huh? What you reckon? You reckon you're asking about them toughs, huh? The ones that your cleric friend, Mr. Beard, decided he'd call out in the middle of this place, in the middle of this lot. Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah, that guy.
Ooh.
That guy. Tell me what you know about that guy.
Well, that guy, well, his name is Rutilis. Rutilis like Rufus, but with a T and an L. Rutilis. Who basically, he's got a new crew he's put together, and they're trying to make a name for themselves. They came in from Millsfar, down to south across the Moon Sea, and they're trying to get in good with the locals. But I gotta tell you, that Rootless, the rest of the guys, they're okay. You can talk to them. I've done some trade work with one of them fellows over there. I can't remember his name. It was like Mayhap or something. But in any case, Rootless, he's hard to talk to. He's hard to figure. Real cool customer. You can see. I mean, even with your glowy dwarf there, he managed to keep his cool. I reckon he even looked a little impatient, but I don't know. It could be a drink. It could be the fact that I wouldn't want to do exactly what you guys did. It's not really the location. It's a lot with these jobs, Kendrick. Location. It's the right job for the right place at the right time. I don't know if I reckon that was the place, but I don't understand religious types, I'm getting a little nervous, a little chatty. I think I might need to get another drink.
There's a right place and a right time, and Bear doesn't give a crap about any of them.
That's right. So, it's an important thing. I don't know, maybe they got the opportunity to really put one over, really make a shine for one of the big leaguers here. One of the big guilds that may want to bring them in. I've heard good things. I heard they do square deals when it comes to selling with their lot. But as far as what the big thing is, I don't know specifically. I just think maybe this is the one that's going to put them over the top. They really get them noticed. It's possible.
Yeah, well, a square deal is, only square for those that are getting the square side of it. And I'm a little concerned here that their square deal may be our undoing, and I have a feeling that our errand tonight is related in a bad manner to this whole thing.
Yeah, I was getting that vibe too.
Oh, I don't know. I don't think Hublin will put you in a bad spot like that. He hasn't done that to you before. I mean, there was that one time, and we weren't expecting. I mean, there's goblins sometimes, there's kobolds sometimes, but then there was both. That was a real right mess, and I understand that. But you guys got paid out of that, right? I mean, you guys got all your fingers, and he holds up his hands. You notice that he's well. You guys know that he's missing the two right pinky and ring fingers on his right hands. At least you guys all got your own fingers. Me, I'm not all that lucky. But I've worked with him for many years, and I know he wouldn't steer you wrong. He's not always. He's not a paladin. He's not a cleric. He's not like your friend Baird there. He doesn't absolutely love nature like Silas, but he's a halfling after that kind of heart. I know there's a good streak in him. That's why I stay working for him. I mean, having to work for the rest of this lot, you take your own life in your hands. But Yublin, he steers you right. He steers you right. You guys have been here a month, and you guys are still alive. That's saying a lot.
We're alive because we have shiny flaming dwarfs. Not because of any kindness by him.
He takes another gulp of his drink, and he looks over at Baird, probably certain that Baird's looking back at him, and he kind of looks a little bug-eyed, and then he looks back, and he's like, "Yeah, you got a point there. You got a point there." How come more dwarves can't be like you? You're reasonable. I haven't told you. But this other guy, sometimes when I'm talking to him, he gives me the evil eye. Well, maybe
Sometimes?
the good eye, the stink eye. I don't know, sometimes I just don't feel right comfortable around him. Make me feel like, I don't know, like cataloguing all the awful things I've done in my life. But, I don't know. Anyway, if it's what you want, you do more tricks like this, maybe we can set up something outside, maybe a little three-card ante, three-card Monty, whatever they call it back downtown. Maybe we can set something up, maybe make a little money on the side, but I'll keep my ear to the ground. I'll listen and see if maybe there's something that Rootless is doing. I'll see what I can do for you, alright?
I suspect we're not going to get this information. We're going to be off before he gets back to us.
Well, I don't know. You really say he'd be back in maybe a little bit less than an hour now. I don't know the ticks of a clock very well. Do I look like a gnome to you? I'm a human. But he should be back soon. I know you guys aren't going to be setting off until tomorrow morning. You guys have to check in with the gate watch. They don't open the gates out towards the tundra any time during the night. You know that.
Alright.
Alright, so you guys be able to chit chat with Jublin when he gets back. Me, if you don't mind, I think I'll stay over here, have a bit more of me cups because I don't know, things are a bit warm over there by your cleric friend. And so he kind of turns on his stool there, and he kind of puts his elbows up on the bar, and he starts drinking a little bit. He casts a glance back towards Baird again, and he looks back, and Baird recognizes that same kind of guilty look that he sees in a few of the people here, and also the look that he's seen in Eldred for a little bit. But also, and Silas, you probably would notice this too, because you're keen to the nature of people and their emotional sides. He does have that kind of a guilt-ridden side about his past, but when he works for Yublin and the kind of jobs that he pulls for him, it seems like it's almost kind of digging his way out of that feeling. You don't know why, because you don't know specifically the kinds of jobs that Eldred pulls off, but you do know that for some reason it does give him a little bit more confidence. And over the past 30, almost 40 days that you've come to know him, you've actually seen him change over that period of time. So, all right, Kendrick, you heading back to the table?
Yeah, I'm gonna head back to the table.
All right.
Is Baron still underneath the table?
No, I popped up.
Oh, okay.
We'll call it good that he was able to time it just right when the illusion faded away. It's one of those situations where as soon as the music and the chattering start, everybody was very keen to look back at their own tables and their own business and not have trifle with the affairs of glowing dwarves.
So, all right.
back at the table.
I give the stink eye to Baird. Have you had your fun?
And then I relay my information, and I want to hear my colleagues' thoughts on the matter. And then what time is it? When is this guy getting back?
You feel like it's getting pretty close. I mean, you were involved with this with that scenario for a little while, and then your talk with Eldred took up some time as well. So you wouldn't be surprised to hear Eublin coming back here anytime soon.
But my opinion is, gentle dwarves, can we have less of the extracurriculars and focus on our business?
Yes, let's go. Let's
Right.
focus on the business. I want to know more about the business.
Bring me more business.
We do
We have a
parlor
bit-
tricks,
Yes.
or we do parlor tricks to find out more about the business and the people we're doing business with. That's what I'm thinking.
I'm basically just like, I still don't trust him, but I don't trust anybody in this place, so might as well just get back to business.
All right. Then back to business it is. The music changes a little bit in the tavern as things are getting deeper into the evening. Seamus is happy to get up onto the little platform that's in the. It's actually located close to the fire there. They set up a smaller raised platform for you. It looks like it's basically a table where the legs have been cut off, and then he can kind of stand on it. So that's about the lengths that they go to for entertainment here. Instead of coming from the front door, you actually see that Eublin comes from the right-hand side of the map, just beyond the place where you can see. Even though everybody is pretty much half again as tall as he is, or taller than he is, he still kind of stands out as he's weaving his way through the crowd, and you see he's always wearing this jaunty little tricorn hat with a blue and red feather that comes out the back that kind of swings back and forth almost like a peacock's tail. But never let it be said that he's a man that doesn't lack for style, because that's how you draw people's attention to his trade emporium. So he arrives back at the table. Oh, gents, you are still here, and you're still here, and there hasn't been a fight around, has there? That's very good, very good. So, did you eat? Did you drink? Did you make merry? Did you meet Mary? She's actually a very lovely waitress. She's quite awesome. I do like her. But in any case, how are you? Everything okay? You haven't festered too much, have you? So quiet.
Who's he talking to? Talking to me?
To all of us, really.
Yeah.
We're as good as to be expected in this place.
Oh. And he glances over at the bar and sees Eldred. Eldred just kind of shakes his head and and goes back to drinking. Well, shall we take this to more private environs, if you guys would like? And he
Yes, please.
towards the bar. Kendrick is keenly aware that behind the bar there is actually a private room for differing conversations. Conversations that are best left to those who should be the only ones listening to them.